Hello, thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. Today, it is my immense pleasure to share with you some thoughts on Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morrisette, the Blu-ray audio featuring high-res lossless stereo and Dolby Atmos mixes. Jagged Little Pill was released in June of 1995. I remember it being just absolutely huge at the time, and apparently it has remained in the public consciousness. It has gone on to sell 33 million copies. Clocking in at just over 57 minutes, it is a rare exception to my preference that albums are kept to LP length, classic LP length of around 44 minutes. This album for me does not outstay its welcome. It is packed with awesome songs. 6 singles were released from the album, 5 of them reaching #1 status on one US chart or another. This album ranks at number 69 on Rolling Stone's 2020 list of the 500 greatest albums. And it's the all-time third ranking album in sales for a female artist. So we are talking about an absolute A-list album that has received the Blu-ray audio treatment from Rhino Records. Jagged Little Pill is Alanis Morissette's third album. Shortly after moving to LA, she began to collaborate with Glenn Ballard, and they went on to create this album. Alanis covers vocal and harmonica duties, while Ballard covers guitars, keys, and some programming. Guests contribute drums, bass, guitars, organ, percussion, and other elements to this album. Names that pop out at me from the guest list are Flea, who plays bass on You Oughta Know, and Dave Navarro, who plays guitar on the same track. Hey, so I wore this Life and Surround t-shirt today to try to remind myself to ask you for your support. If you like what I do, please like my videos, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell if you haven't already. I do news videos with some time-sensitive information, and notifications could help you to jump on some opportunities that might otherwise pass you by. Leaving comments helps this channel with the YouTube algorithm in getting my videos out to others. Sharing videos can certainly help if you are members of social media groups that cover topics that my videos can relate to. And finally, I have a print store with shirts and hats, and I'll be adding other items as I can and as I understand the level of interest. That is found on eBay, and I will leave a link below. I appreciate all your support, and now back to this review. Let's take a look at the Blu-ray audio. You can see my hype sticker, which I usually keep. There's a booklet that gives lyrics for every song on the album and then some credits. And then, of course, there's the Blu-ray disc. It is not exactly packed with features, but it has high-res lossless stereo and high-res lossless Dolby Atmos. Mastering for this Blu-ray has been handled by Craig Anderson, who has certainly been involved in Rhino Blu-rays in the past, including a lot of the Quadio series, if not the whole thing. He's also mastered an Alice Cooper DVD audio and a lot of REM DVD audios. The credits tell us that mixing for the stereo and Atmos on this Blu-ray was handled by Dolby Studios, but I don't have more information for you than that at this time. I am awfully curious which actual human beings mixed this album, and hopefully that will come to light eventually. I'll cut to the chase and let you know that I think this is an extremely effective Atmos mix. Alanis Morissette's main vocal and harmonica favor the front of the room, as do the drums and bass guitars, though these elements can all extend out into the room a bit. Guitars and keys, including organ, tend to favor the rear of the room, but there are exceptions throughout the album. Percussion, in terms of like additional percussive elements, can move around and is often used playfully during intros and interludes. Background vocals can be frontward, as in the song Head Over Feet, when tight harmonies, I believe, called for proximity very close to the main vocal. Or they can favor the rear, such as in the song Ironic, when the background vocals have more of a response thing going on. The track that had the most impressive Atmos mix, in my opinion, upon my several listens, is You Learn. It's got background vocals that move around the room, sort of in a triangle formation, according to how I was hearing things, and the organ is just given lots of space and is just luscious, in particular on this track. The track also boasts all of the other elements, as far as I could hear, that this album has to offer, and is just a really great example of a mix really serving a song while being a little bit playful. It also happens to be one of my favorite songs from the album, so that doesn't hurt. I'm going to play a snippet of just the height speakers from that song for you now.
A jagged little pill, swinging in your stomach.
And that's just to demonstrate that the heights are well utilized for the Atmos mix on this album. I don't hear anything that I feel is absolutely locked up in the heights, and I don't really think that that's exactly what heights should be used for, particularly in rock music. Although there are some elements that seem situated well up there, like when some percussion goes dancing around. I don't really see how this Atmos mix can be disappointing to anyone unless they're perhaps expecting a Kraftwerk level of discrete ping-ponging sounds that definitely are locked in the heights and then locked in the ground mix. And that just isn't what we have on our hands here. This album sounds huge and it sounds wonderful. And let's circle back to the mastering for a moment. I can't vouch for the stereo because I have not listened to it, but at least for the Atmos, the mastering is very gingerly done. You have to really crank this album, meaning turn up your volume knob well beyond what you may be used to for either stereo or even 5.1. And then once you have the album well cranked so that the bass and the drums and the drum machines are really thundering in your room, that's when I believe the Atmos and the rhythm section and everything is really going to take the most effect for you. And I can tell you gladly, I had this album cranked so high that I thought I was going to get the cops called on me, and everything was still sounding very, very pleasant. So the album was really just beating my chest in, but I didn't experience any ear fatigue or any discomfort or any annoyance either. Is this album streaming? Yes. Yes, it is. It's probably up on Tidal, but I can definitely vouch for Apple Music. Just don't go look in the 25th anniversary edition, which I think is just the album in stereo plus a live concert. This Blu-ray, though, it does coincide with a 25th anniversary tour that Morrisette is on, and also the digital release of the 25th anniversary version of this album. I believe that's just coincidental. So I found the Atmos version of this on Apple Music by clicking into the 2015 remastered version. Meanwhile, the Blu-ray is for sale at the Rhino Store. I can vouch for Rhino US. I'm not sure about Rhino UK. And I'm also not sure if this Blu-ray will eventually get pushed to other retailers. I believe that does sometimes happen with other Rhino Blu-ray products. Also, this Blu-ray is one of 4 so far in Rhino's new Blu-ray Atmos series. So you have Alanis Morrisette, The Doors, Hootie and the Blowfish, and Fleetwood Mac. If you order all 4, right now you're going to be sent Alanis Morissette and Hootie, and then Fleetwood Mac and The Doors are being released at a later date. You won't have to repay for shipping, and they will send the items as they're available. Now, if you order all 4 of these and nothing else, you will barely not qualify for Rhino's free shipping at $100. So what I actually did is I ordered the 3 that interested me the most, and then I went and found another item that was priced slightly higher, so that kicked me over $100. I got free shipping, even though I used a 15% off code. And I'm going to actually paste that code below. I don't know if it works anymore. So maybe if some of you try it, you can leave comments and let everyone else know if it is working still or if it has expired. So some final thoughts. I think this Blu-ray audio Atmos mix of Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, frankly, sounds amazing. In terms of mix and mastering, both really do it for me and have effectively drawn me back in to this juggernaut of a classic album that I hadn't listened to or paid attention to in a while. And it was a very, very happy reunion. This is an awesome record. It has a lot of emotion and it brings me back to, my younger days, and the mix and the mastering here really serve the songs well and pay incredible homage to this really great record. I want to compliment Rhino on the value on offer here, that this is a standalone Blu-ray. So it's neither locked in an expensive box set, and it's also not available only for streaming. So you can own this album and you can listen to it in lossless quality. So we have a top tier album with good mixing and mastering at a great value. This is an absolute winner in terms of like what this channel's all about. This checks all my boxes in terms of being a lover of surround and immersive music. Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morrisette, the new Blu-ray audio featuring lossless high-res, stereo, and Dolby Atmos. I would not be surprised if this is the next Grammy winner for immersive albums. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Again, I appreciate your support, so don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, check out my store, leave comments below, share these videos, go back and watch older videos, and above all else, live life in surround.